I'm sure it must have changed, but oh yeah, okay, it's probably over there that the pile's changed a bit. But yeah, still a lot of work there in the heat. I won't be out long because it's a bit warm out here. Okay, so we've got a bit of rendering on the front. It looks like they're working on cleaning up the cross beams by the look of those legs. So yeah, it's getting more and more wood stripped away. See what else I can find out. Well, looks like the wall's done, so I'll be doing the formwork for the verticals in that by the look of it. I wonder if it's going to get rendered on both sides or just the inner side. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. So some tidying going up on the surface of the columns. So I'm guessing those bits that stick out across the bottom are containing some of the steel work that carries through from the sloping columns since they align. Open out a bit with less of the scaffolding. I guess that'll be next. We're starting to get the ring beams along the top of the wall. Tidying up work going on upstairs. Making it nice. And my ring bolt. Can't see, hang on. Can't see very well on this little screen whether it's focused or not, but there's my ring bolt embedded deep in the beam as intended. Okay, time to run away. Starting to get too hot. I think we've got a bit of a change in the amount of stuff out here. More rocky fill's been moved. Still got some big rocks over here though, and more rocky fill. So a lot of work to be done yet out here. Yeah, it's end of day walk around, and we've got a lot less woodwork out front than we used to have. So yeah, a bit of rendering's been done. So the first section there and a little bit up this end where it's going to be out of sight behind a fish preparation bench anyway, like a long kitchen bench sink type thing. The tarp's moved to the front tank now, so I guess they've got tiling to finish off in there. The back tank's probably done. Formwork's up on most of the walls verticals, but there is one there that's not done, so I'm assuming there's probably not concrete in these. But we have the start of the outside edge of the drainage canal from around the front now. So you can see there they've got a board up showing where the end's going to be. And we have the brick side beginning. And more of the rocky fill's made its way out here. So there's a bit more formwork to be stripped off this end yet. And yeah, that rear drainage canal will no doubt have its formwork stripped off over the next few days, along with these back columns. It'll start to look fairly neat then when we can see the building. We've reached the stage where they're putting vegetation up as flags on the roof. Not quite sure what that's about. I'm sure it's just traditional. The formwork's up for the ring beam on the east wall, and the reinforcement cage is sitting on top of the first section of the south wall. There's another reinforcement cage in the ground out behind the shed, which I've just come from. But a lot of work to go yet, working through the sand. Lots of concrete to be made. I just found where some more reinforcement cages are being made for the top of the wall. They're over the wall, which makes sense because they'll be carrying them down the back to get to the far end rather than through the inside, I guess. That's enough time out here. I'm getting hot. It's a bit after 9. I'm on the morning circuit, and work continues. Moving rocky fill. I think there's quite a few days of it left here. Let's go and see what else is going on. Well, being as it's after 9, I'm sure I've heard 3 or 4 batches of mortar or render or concrete made this morning. So heaven knows where it's all going, because it's not been put into the forms for the wall ring beam. But yeah, so it's going into buckets there to go into render on the wall maybe. More formwork for ring beams is going up. I've got a lot of that to do. Bit of render at the end here that needed patching up. It's been done. We're getting some nice render on the back side of this northern rain gutter. So it's all going to be very neat. Okay, so this is a concrete mix, as I can tell by the stone in it, and I've been loading stone this morning. And I think it's a fair assumption it's for verticals in the wall. Although they've got formwork to do for the last 2 yet. And we're getting our... now this is... okay, so I've left a gap there to put the valves on the... so we're getting an outer and inner wall on this drainage canal. That's good, they're getting some nails removed from formwork, hopefully. So the rocky fill is going outwards, sort of rocky here. Not quite sure what is intended for this area. I had thought there might be more garden or whatever, but I guess it's a function of how big our aquaponics environment becomes. Because if we do the area between Dadang's house and our house, and that turns out not to be big enough, and we do this area here in front of the tanks, maybe we'll do the area at the end there as well. I don't know, well, I guess we'll find out. It's all a bit of an adventure, just sort of saying, oh, I wonder what happens next. Life in Bakum. Well, it's the afternoon walk around and they're nibbling away at the piles. In a moment they'd be hiding from the heat like sensible people. But it's hot and sunny, so it makes good rice drying weather. So it looks like they got a fair amount of the forms filled for the top ring beam on this wall. I'll see if I can see how far they've got. Okay, we're just up to their first kink. So there's lots more reinforcement cage and formwork to be put up along the wall yet. The fact that the angle grinder's there means that they're still doing tiling inside the front tank there, cutting the tiles to size, and construction of our secondary canal here is continuing. They're all on coffee break at the moment, which is reasonable in this heat. I can see they've done the formwork on the second last vertical there. They've only got one at the end, which is currently behind that wooden scaffolding thing there. One left to form up for now. They may leave that one since the canal is going to be continued on after that bit of rice is harvested. The canal will continue on down to the creek. Not quite sure how far the wall's going to continue, whether it's going to go all that way too. I suspect that will be Jabita's desire. I think she was the one who initiated construction of this wall. It's the end of day walk around. I'm sure the pile has diminished a bit. Quite a bit. That hasn't been touched, but this is diminished. Okay, time to go see what else has happened. The filling of the ring beam formwork has progressed along the rest of the east wall and a portion of the south wall. Let's go and have a look from the other end and see how far we can see. Okay, we didn't quite make it to the end of the building. Almost. So more formwork required. I've done the vertical columns and taken the formwork off, in fact, most of them. And I've got to see if I can get across here without getting stuck in mud. Without damaging their brickwork. Made it. These trees along here are at risk. Okay, well, it's apparent they've done all of the vertical columns up to the second last one, because I'll leave that last one for when the canal gets extended. And we have the reinforcement cage along quite a distance, so tomorrow I'm sure they'll be putting formwork up on that to continue with. And Dadding's over there rearranging leftover concrete or mortar by the look of it. Use that to fill a hole or something. Let's go and have a look and see what's happened to the building. Well, they've got much of the rendering done on the front wall today, and it's probably my imagination, but it seems like there's less scaffolding. This morning walk around, I just had a passing guy ask me for a selfie, so I'm in somebody's photo this morning. But yeah, so rocks are still continuing to be moved around the back. So they're continuing to pretty up the concrete beams in the sky. Well, it's the afternoon circuit. I won't be out for long. All the sensible people are hiding from the heat. Well, it's end of day walk around, and they made quite a substantial difference to what's out the front here. Let's go and see where it all went. Well, this appears to be where it's come to. So from the look of that, they've got the formwork up and filled along the top of the wall. The formwork's been stripped off the east wall, and looks like they've made a start at the rendering right there. And there's still a little bit of formwork on the south side of the building. I started doing a design of the travelling bridge for the crane based on materials we have on hand and the things that I think I can get from the internet. And then after coming to measure it up, I'm not going to have enough clearance on top of the rail. I needed that distance from that lower step on those columns. Need the distance from that to the bottom side of the rail beam above to be 50 centimetres. It's not. So I've got to come up with a different idea for how to do the bridge. But it's another challenge. There's always challenges like that to overcome. I'll find a way. But the beams are looking a bit neater than they were. Work to be done here yet. And after measuring up the 6-metre rails to get the join end to end for the two of them to be on that central buttress step thing, we'll have to actually embed this end in the wall a bit. That's okay, we can chip that out. But yeah, it's coming along. Next morning walk around and removing a rocky fill continues. So this is where the rocky fill was coming to. Formwork still being stripped off and stacked. Probably full of nails sticking out of it. Not sure if anybody's going to go and recover the nails as they'll want to do. And there's still tile cutting going on over there, so I'm assuming that means there's still tiling going on inside the tank. There's still rendering going on here, and more cleanup up top there by the look of it. So even though the canal is going to continue on west towards the creek, the wall turns at that point. I don't quite know how far across to the north it's going to go from that point. There's teams up there still making that pretty. So a lot of the formwork and scaffoldings come down out the back. So it's primarily the scaffolding that goes through the wall that's still intact up there. Can't see from this angle what's holding up the southern end of those cross pieces. Well, the tide's gone out in the service pit. I don't know whether that means they've been using all that water out of there for the mixing of the mortar and concrete, or whether the groundwater level's dropping, then it's leaking out the bottom. I suspect we're going to have to seal that so we don't have groundwater come in once we have a roof on. So the inside here is all going to look good. Now I've got to walk back under there without getting dripped on. You'll see there where some of the scaffolding holes in the wall have been emptied and the holes patched. So there'll be more of those as time goes by. But yeah, Yeah, so making it pretty. It might be the groundwater level that's falling. Certainly the deepest the water's been down for quite some time. It's the afternoon circuit. It's rained since the morning circuit. And these guys are making good headway on the rocky fill. I just hope they get it out of that drain before the next huge rainfall. Rocks and rocky fill continue to come to this area. So maybe next time it rains it won't be quite such a puddle. And it looks like tiling's continuing inside the tanks because there's guys accessing those. I hear voices from inside. And prettying up of the cement face of things is continuing at that end and up top. And Kana appears to be removing nails, which is a good thing. I wonder what else is happening over the other side of the fence. As I suspected, there's been a rice harvest over the south side of the fence, the wall, whatever you want to call it. And there's a short wall heading north. That might be the extent of it, I think. But there's guys over there working on the extension of the canal. See how close I can get without getting bogged in mud. So there's the extension of the canal. Already full of water. So this is the extent of how far the fence is going to come. These bits of reinforcement will be cut off at this point. I wonder how he's got the rocks around the back. I've never actually seen that creek. It's always just been back in the trees. So I guess I'll get down there someday by walking along the canal. This is good. Okay, well I think I'll go and edit this down and upload it to the YouTube channel, because I think this one's starting to get long again.